everybody, it's Miss Torcoletti, and we are going to do a science experiment together in this video. And I will keep you guys updated on the experiment, and we'll check in on things next week in another video. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. Last week we read the book Tops and Bottoms, and we talked about many different vegetables and the parts of those vegetables that we eat. And we talked about how some things like nuts, we're eating the seed part of the plant. And today we're going to plant a few different items, and we're going to use scraps from the kitchen for some of those items. Yes, scraps, the parts of the plant that you normally throw away. We're going to do an experiment with those parts. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plant something in a way that you usually see someone plant. And that's with some soil. And right here, I just have some potting soil in a little jar because you know that plants need soil, water, air, and light and space to be able to grow. So we're starting with some soil in here. And then I'm just going to get a couple sunflower seeds. And whenever you're planting something like this, you just make a tiny little small divot in the soil, and you just put the seeds in and cover them up and give them a little bit of water. Okay, so this is how most of you probably have seen plants grow. I'm going to go ahead and get this little bit of water. All right, just a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside. And this is going to be, all right, one of our plants that we're going to keep track of. And that was a sunflower seed. All right, now for some of our other ones, we're going to try something a little bit different than the traditional way of growing something in soil like this. We are going to sprout some roots on some items. We're going to attempt to do that by just putting them in water. Now there are several plants that you can do this with, and I have a variety of them here today. Now, not all of them turn out the same way whenever you do this experiment with them. So if you're trying something at home, all right, your results for different items might be different. So to get started, some of the things that we had last week in the video that we talked about are right here on my cutting board. Now, at this point, if you are going to need to be cutting anything, your parents will need to do that part. You should not ever use a knife by yourself. So make sure you get a parent to help you at home if you're going to try to do an experiment like this. You will need your parents' assistance. All right, so now we have several different things here. And if you remember, like this right here, we eat the green leafy parts, and we can still see this had some roots on the bottom of this leaf. All right, and we have a radish here, and we eat the root part of this plant. And another root that we eat, potatoes. And another root we eat are carrots. And onions are another root that we eat. Now, the lettuce, we eat the green leafy part at the top. Just a quick review. And celery, we eat the stalk part of the plant. Set that back down over here for now. Okay, so for this experiment, you'll need some like jars, or you can use cups, something like that you're going to be putting the some of the cuttings into. And so we're going to start with a carrot. You don't have to buy the ones that have all this green at the top, but you do want to buy a whole regular carrot. And the part, all right, you just take it and you can cut off this top part right here. And then you're going to just cut off the top of the carrot like you usually would, and then you'll use the rest of the carrot for a snack or for cooking. All right, but this part right here is the part that you're going to take, and you're going to put it into your jar or into your cup, and then you'll add just a little bit of water. You don't want to put too much in there because you don't want to drown it, but you want enough water so that it's sitting in some water. Okay, so we're going to do a carrot like that, and we're going to do a radish like that. Again, remember, you will not cut anything yourself. Your parents will cut anything that needs to be cut if you're going to do this. And I also will take pictures of all of our things, and we'll have an update video for next week. on the progress of all of our items. All right, so just a little bit of water in there for our radish. All right. You can also we're gonna do some lettuce this way as well. Next, all right, and then the rest of this we'll use for a yummy, delicious salad. All right, and then you take this and you're just going to leave the end of it like that and put it in. And now you do want to make sure you have enough water that the bottom of it is touching. Enough water to touch the bottom of it. All right, we're good to go there. All right. Also going to do the leek the same way. You could also do this with green onions. All right, I'm gonna cut off the bottom part. It's the part you normally would not eat or use. All right, and then this part I'll use in a soup. And then, same thing, you're going to put it in, and you want to make sure you put some water in the bottom of it, not a whole lot. You want it to be covering those roots that are already down there formed. All right. Now, we're also going to do a regular onion. Jar, and same thing, goes down with the root side down into the bottom of the jar. Some water in it. All right, we don't want to cover it up, but enough to where the bottom of the roots are submerged. Okay? All right, for this next one, it's going to be a little bit different because this next one we're going to do a potato. Now, on a potato, all right, you see right here, already has a little green on the potato. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. All right, and that is a little sprout. All right, this potato already has a couple little sprouts on it. That's why I picked this one to start with. And for the potato, we're not going to cut it at all. But we are going to take some toothpicks and we're going to put it into the edge of the potato to hold it up in the water so the bottom of the potato is not touching the jar. Now, whenever I put this into the jar, I'm going to make sure that when I put it in and I put water in it, that some of these little sprouts that are already coming out are going to be down in the water. All right, and you'll see why whenever we do our update, why that was important. All right, and you want to put some water in there, like that. Okay, and then we have each of our items here. Oh, we have one more, I almost forgot. One of my favorite snacks, some almond butter with some celery. Oh, it's delicious. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this and I'll go ahead and I'll prep all the celery and have celery for snack for the rest of the week. Now, you just take the base of this, all right, and we'll do the same thing we did with the other ones. Uh-oh, I don't like it in that one. All right, do a little bit larger one. Yeah. No? Okay. All right, so got another plan, backup plan. I'm using a measuring cup. All right, and then I'll fit my celery base down into the bottom of that water, all right? And we will do some updates on this next week to see how all of these items are doing and how they're growing. Now, right here, I've made a little journal, and you can make one too. It's just a piece of paper, and I folded it in half. And I drew a quick little picture of some of the plants that we're looking at and that we are trying to see what will happen if we attempt to grow them or to sprout them, to start them in water like this. And I drew each jar that we have down here and what it looks like right now. And then I will update it in a couple of days, and I'll take some photos each day so you guys can see the progress of all of these plants. Now, there is one more fun little experiment that you can do at home, And you can get some, I already have some water right here. You can get some water, and you can do this with the celery. You can put some food coloring in the water. Excuse me, squirt some food coloring in there. And then if you put your celery in there like this, remember the celery right here, this is the stem part of the celery. And the stem, the stalk here, all right, one of its jobs is to carry water up into the plant and through the plant and to the leaves. And then the leaves they use that water whenever they're making their food, whenever they're going through the photosynthesis process, and when they're creating their own food. So you can put this in a jar like this, or a jar or a cup with some food coloring. And also, if you're going to use food coloring, you need to have your parents' assistance. Don't use food coloring on your own. But you'll be able to see how the stalk, how the stem carries the water up and through the celery. And if you let it sit, especially if you let it go for about overnight, you'll notice a huge difference in that. And so I'll take some pictures of this as well to give you guys updated on this to see how it goes. All right. And all of these items are going to need some sunlight. So we'll put them in a sunny window. And you also want to make sure that every 2 to 3 days you empty out any water that's in here and put new water in. And if you check it and there's not any water, make sure you add some water to it, because the water will evaporate in this warm, sunny window sometimes. It will evaporate if you don't have a lot in there. It could evaporate all the way. So I hope you guys try some of these experiments at home, and I'll take some pictures, and next week's video we'll have some updates on each of our items. All right, until next time, have a great day, guys.
I've included close-up pictures of each item so that you can create your own journal. This is the celery that we did in the food coloring. This is the leek, celery, sunflower, lettuce, carrot, radish, potato. You can pause the video for each one of those to record it in your own journal. Have fun, guys!